Okay. Now just take note that, the presentation that's really serve as a general information, and we do not recommend it as any particular treatment or replace any advice by doctor or medical health professional. Of course, we will be having a number of real life testimonials and sharing so that everybody can learn from each other. So now have a happy time learning. Now let's get started, right? I think for most of you have read the write up, right? This set of oils is really based on traditional Chinese medicine. Now, what is traditional Chinese medicine, or what we call TCM usually, right? Now, traditional Chinese medicine is really a holistic system of healthcare that had been practiced for more than 5,000 years in China. And in fact, it's now practiced all over the world and very widely accepted. Now, TCM is very interesting because it's really based on a few set of principles. It focuses on the balance of the body's vital energy, or some people call it qi, or even the Indians call it prana, and together with the harmonious interaction of yin and yang forces, right? But for today, I'm only going to be sharing on certain relevant aspects related to tonight's topic, right? Now, let's first look at this very interesting word called 中医, okay? For many people, that literally just means traditional Chinese medicine. I will take note that the word 中 itself, right, does not mean that it's medicine that came from China, which means 中国, right? The word 中 here literally means center, right? In fact, it refers to traditional Chinese medicine, which has actually been known as what we call the theory of balancing medicine. So what it really means is when your yin and yang is balanced, then we will be healthy. And that's really one of the fundamental principles of meridian therapy. Okay. Now let's move on, because we are talking about meridian therapy. So just what are meridians? Well, think about it as these wondrous interconnecting channels throughout our whole body, right? I can think about it as like highways on the body, right? There are 14 main highways in the body. 12 of these highways are what we call bilateral. Bilateral simply just means that if they exist on the right-hand side, they also exist on your left-hand side, right? So altogether, there are 12 main highways that exist on both the right side of the body and the left side of the body. And there are two meridian lines or highways that's right in the center of the body, one in front and one channel right at the back, right? That's why we actually call the Ren Mai and the Tu Mai. Now, along all these highways, or what we call meridian channels, there are what we call acupressure points. In fact, there are 365 main acupressure points along this meridian line. So if you are liken it to a MRT track, you can think about all these acupressure points are like the City Hall interchange, the interchanges which are very important, right? Now, what's interesting is meridians work in pairs and they really govern our systemic health. Okay. Now, let me introduce you to this thing called what we call a body meridian clock, right? Now, it's very interesting because each meridian, which is kind of associated with a particular organ, is active for 2 hours during the 24-hour cycle, right? Now, I'm just going to use a couple for illustration, okay? Take, for example, you all know that, between 11 o'clock to 1 a.m., if you kind of look at the chart itself, what we call the body meridian clock chart, you'll see that that's the hour when the gallbladder is very active, right? What does the gallbladder do, right? The gallbladder actually helps our body to detox, to get rid of fats, detox our fats, break down the fats in the body, right? So, in order for the gallbladder to work well in this hour, you actually need to be in deep sleep by 11 o'clock. Now, if you don't, what happens? Right? Typically, if you don't, your gallbladder kind of, gets overworked, gets blocked. And that's where you tend to, end up with things like, maybe headache, stiff neck, stiff shoulder, because the gallbladder meridian do pass by those areas, right? Hence getting blocked. Now, what's important along all these meridians is blood and qi, right? Two things flows through all the organs through your body meridians. That's how they actually works, right? Now, let me introduce one of the main fundamentals of TCM, right? Now, remember the qi and blood flows freely through the body. So what happens when your qi and blood does not flow freely in the body? Well, it will just like be a drain that gets stuck, right? When the drain gets, the fish is not healthy, the fish dies, everything gets blocked down there. So similarly, right, the body meridian, if the chi and blood does not flow freely through the body, okay, it leads to this thing called stagnation or blockage. Well, just think of it as traffic jam, right? If it's a highway with traffic jam, if you see the MRT, it'll be like the MRT station breakdown, the MRT breakdown, and things don't move, right? Things, and when things get blocked, bad things happen, right? So in TCM, it leads to this situation called imbalance. Remember just now we are talking about TCM is really about a medicine of balancing back your body. So when your body go unbalanced, it creates havoc in your body. Now, so just what happens if your body go imbalance? Well, let's look at some interesting things. What can cause imbalance? A lot of things, especially in this type of times, things will be like work stress, right? A lot of us are under a lot of stress. After stress, it makes us, feel very lethargic and so forth. So stress is one of the main cause of imbalance in this modern time. Now, of course, a poor lifestyle. Now, what does poor lifestyle mean? It includes things like late nights, right? When you're supposed to be asleep in bed by 10 o'clock, you're still awake. And then, you watch your Korean TV until 2, 3 a.m., and next day you wake up feeling really, really bad. And of course, also diet, right? You are eating stuff like, a lot of processed food, a lot of fast food, although they are convenient, but they are really unhealthy. Well, what else causes imbalance in the body? Yes, medication, right? Especially if you have like various health condition and doctors prescribe you with tons and tons of medicine. Well, do you know that taking a lot of medication actually causes a lot of imbalance in the body? And of course, things like substance abuse, right? I mean, drug abuse and so forth, without saying. Now, alcohol and smoking too will cause your body balance. Now, even if we manage to keep a healthy lifestyle, wow, look at our surrounding, right? Look at Fukushima, right? We are just dumping radiated water into the sea and so forth, right? And in many countries, pollution is a very major concern. And of course, just nearby in our house, our handphone, our Wi-Fi, our router, right, emitting all the 3G, 4G, 5G. In fact, these are actually very detrimental to our health. And of course, with recent years, right, Omicron, right, which is really COVID, getting. So these are the things that actually can cause our body system to go off balance, right? Now, let's just look at what happens when there's imbalance in various meridians, right? Just take, for example, the lung and the large intestine meridian, now, which is probably one of the more common meridians that gets affected over the last 2 years simply because of COVID. Things like respiratory issues, right? And then you find yourself having a lot of sinus, asthma, cough, or fever, anything to do with the lungs, right? That fundamentally is related to really the lung and the large intestine meridian going a bit haywire or off balance. Now, even certain emotions, you will find yourself getting very cynical for whatever reasons, right? It also could be a sign that your lung and your large intestine meridians are also going off balance. Now, let's look at what about other meridians. Wow, the heart and the pericardial meridian, right? The heart and pericardial meridian is also a very important one, right? Uh, Things related to the heart palpitation, heart issues, anxiety, right? Anxiety, of course, and insomnia, of course. If you cannot sleep well, in Chinese TCM, it actually means that your heart is not stable, is on fire, and you're always overexcited, or even sometimes you have like speech disorder, cardiovascular disease. These are really some of the health conditions that could be caused by imbalance in your heart, heart meridian. Now let's look at other meridians. Wow, stomach and spleen meridian. How do you know if your stomach and spleen meridian may be a little bit off balance? Well, if you tend to get a lot of indigestion, bloatedness, gas in the stomach, or very easily get diarrhea, oh, even food allergies, right? And things like water retention. Yes, water retention is actually a sign that your stomach and spleen, may need some rebalancing. And of course, for some of the ladies, even very light and very heavy menses, okay, could be a sign that your stomach and spleen need some, tuning. And let's look at the liver and gallbladder. We are just talking about the liver and gallbladder as the major detoxification organ. So if these two are all balanced, what could it lead to? Well, you may find yourself getting easily angry, right? Because anger is an emotion that's actually governed by the liver. So you will find yourself getting angry for no reason. It could be caused by the fact that your liver has gone a little bit off balance. Things like eye problems. Yes. Why is that so? Because the eyes are very closely related to the organ of the liver. So, if your liver is not good, you tend to get a lot of eye problems too. Now, headache, migraine, stiff neck, stiff shoulder. Simply because these meridians actually run past the head area, where, your gallbladder meridian actually runs past the head area and also the shoulder area. Now, if you find yourself also having things like brittle nails, right, very easily broken off, that could actually be a sign that your liver and gallbladder is also asking for help. And for ladies, if you find that maybe your menses are a little bit irregular, that also too could be a sign that your liver and gallbladder needs tuning. Now, what about the kidney and the urinary bladder meridian? Now, this is important because in TCM, the kidney is like our body powerhouse. So when the kidney is weak, you then face things like chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue means that no matter how much you sleep, you still wake up feeling very tired, very lethargic. Now, when you're feeling very tired and lethargic, you also could um, lose interest in sexuality, right? So that's why if you find that maybe your partner, okay, has lost interest in making love, it could be a sign that their kidney energy is a little bit low, right? Now, for the older people, one of the signs could be frequent urination. You tend to go to toilet very often because the kidney is very closely related to the bladder meridian. So when your kidney meridian is weak, it reflects in the urinary bladder, right? Then you tend to go to toilet very often. That's why you find that a lot of old folks, tend to wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to go to toilet. Now, even signs of like dark eye bags, right, really could be a sign that your kidney meridian is a little bit weak. And for ladies, right, because your kidney meridian governs your reproductive system, things like your post-menstrual syndrome and stuff like that, right? Where hot flushes, night sweat. That's also again very closely related to the kidney and urinary bladder meridian gone off balance, right? Now, do we all know anybody with this condition? Well, I'm sure we all do, right? Even my close ones, my relatives and so forth, many of them do display, some of these signs and symptoms that I've just shared with you. Now, so what can we do with them right now that we know that the meridians has gone off balance, right? Now, one of the way of correcting imbalance, what is the purpose to correct the imbalance? It's really to restore back the smooth flow of the blood and qi in the body. And of course, if there's traffic jam, the whole idea is to clear all this traffic jam and any energy that's stagnant in there, you actually want to clear it out. Well, the question is, how do you do that? Now, of course, one of the very common methods we use is massage, right? Sometimes when you don't feel good, we don't feel well, we go for a massage. After massage, you feel much better. Why is that so? Because, the process of massaging you has actually helped clear some of the blockages in your body. Even sometimes exercise, right? When you feel lethargic, you go for exercise and you feel much better after that because, the chi and the blood has, started flowing a little bit. Now, what happens if the blockages is a little bit more severe? You might find people doing things like finger press, right? They use the finger, they use the elbow, sometimes use the knee, to put extreme pressure on certain acupressure points in order just to clear them. And of course, for some of you who may be familiar with cupping, right? Cupping has become a very popular treatment even among Western athletes, right? So cupping is a way again to pull the stagnation or pull the toxin out from the body. And of course, if many of you have gone to see the TCM, you might find that the TCM doctor would take their needles and then put it into acupressure points along the meridian lines. And what's the purpose? Again, is to clear all the blockages from the chi, stimulate the meridian so that the flow of the blood and chi is restored. And of course, moxibustion is also very popular. So moxibustion is, they will burn a row of what we call RG wormwood eye chow, right? And, use the heat to again help clear dampness from the body. And of course, one of the recently more popular ways that many people have practiced is gua sha, right? Gua sha literally means scraping. It's making use of a gua sha tool. We could be made of natural material like, buffalo horn and so forth. And they actually scrape it along the meridian lines on the body, okay, with the purpose again of clearing out all the blockages and toxin from the body. Now, all these are really what we call mechanical means of clearing the blockages. So sometimes if you go to a massage, somebody who do massage, right? And if they depend solely on just mechanical methods to do it, you might feel that, it's very uncomfortable because they end up using a lot of strength. They end up using a lot of different techniques to try and clear. So what happened is, since ancient times, whether it's Ayurvedic medicine or TCM medicine, right? The healers have known that, herbs have a lot of energy. And in fact, different herbs actually have different affinity for different meridians. Let's take, for example, take this plant called magnolia. Okay, it's not the milk that you drink. Okay, so magnolia is, a very beautiful, is a very beautiful tree that blooms starting in spring. What happens is the flower buds of the magnolia is very potent because it actually contains, a very good herbal properties that's very synergistic to the lung and the large intestine meridian. And other herbs will be things like, say, patchouli. For those of you who are not familiar with the word patchouli, patchouli is found in maybe this traditional Chinese medicine called bo zai pill. For those who grow up eating that, right? They look like little round pills that, when you used to have a stomach ache, and your grandma would buy a few of the bo zai pill, let you eat them to relieve your stomach. In fact, one of the main herb, that makes bo zai pill very effective is this herb called patchouli. And of course, as you can guess, patchouli is very good for any ailments that's related to the stomach and the spleen. And of course, we have things like the forsythia. Now, forsythia personally is one of my favorite herbs because it detoxes the liver and the gallbladder. Now, for many of you may not realize, right, one of the very popular traditional Chinese medicine that's been recommended for COVID treatment, right? You go to a petrol station, you see this blue color box called lian qiao or something like that. The main herb that makes that, that medicine so potent is actually forsythia itself. And of course, there will be herbs like angelica. For many of the ladies who are brought up in the Asian countries here, you have a Chinese mom who very, very familiar with angelica, or some people call tang gui. And remember, when do they brew tang gui? A lot of moms would brew the tang gui, after the daughters has just had their menses, and use actually angelica or tang gui to nourish back their blood. As you can see, the angelica is very, very beneficial for the kidney and the bladder meridian. And of course, sometimes you also get Western herbs like valerian, right? Valerian has been used in the Western world to aid people in who have sleep disorder, right? And you can see valerian is very good for calming down the heart and the small intestine meridian. Now, let's just look at how all these herbs are usually brewed. Okay, for those of you who have grown up, so whether is this jamu or whether is in Chinese TCM herbs, right? You must be very familiar with this, right? Your parents might go to a TCM hall, ask for a variety of herbs. Maybe I want to brew tang gui for my daughter, right? I'll go to the TCM hall and ask for tang gui. But guess what? When the herbalists pick up the tang gui, they will tend to accompany with other herbs together. Now, this is because in TCM, we are talking about balance. So it takes a variety of herbs plus maybe the main herb, right, to produce a very balanced brew. Okay, then you will take this thing, put into that, that little pot that you see down there, brew it for maybe 3-4 hours, reduce down from 5 cups of water to say 1 cup of water. Wow. And resulting in this, usually a darkish liquid. Not everybody likes to drink it. Well, I don't really, unless I don't have a choice. But when we grew up in our homes, we used to take these type of medicinal brews from our mom and our grandma, right? Now, of course, thanks to companies like Avita these days, right? Wow, we have got all this herbal energy, right? Bottled up into very convenient to use, right? Herbal oils. So this set of oils, is enough for you to address a lot of ailments that is affecting all your meridians. In fact, I call this one of the most modern, convenient, and effective medication for the modern times, right? Now let's look a little bit at the Avita TCM Herbal Essential Oil, right? Now, big thanks to these two professors, Professor Chai and Professor Lin. They actually come from the Yangming Taiwan University. You know, they and their team of professors, right, did a lot of research and development and also testing in that university to develop this set of wonderful oils. Right? And what is so wonderful about these oils is it's really a fusion of the best of the East and the West. Right now, one of the things that I find with a lot of medicinal brew is that if your spleen system in TCM, in TCM, your spleen is actually used to convey nutrients throughout the body. If your spleen is not in too great a shape, right, taking the herbs through consumption, may not be very effective. That's why a lot of herbalists will tend to want to fix up the spleen system first before they give you other medication. Right. So one of the ways that, if you use TCM essential oil, the great thing is you can actually very directly energize the meridians by itself, as long as you know where the acupressure points and where the meridian lines are located. Right. Now, the other thing is, it's really bottling up wisdom from 5,000 years of TCM, and then, using very high-end biotechnology R&D, it resulted in all these little bottles of energy. Okay. I call them energy bottle up. Okay. And in fact, they are made from 100% natural botanicals. They are a mix of TCM herbs. So remember what I was saying, that in TCM, it comprises of a whole balance of herbs in order to produce a very balanced brew, right? So likewise, all these TCM oils, if you look at Angelica, so Angelica may be the key herb, but inside is also balanced out with the rest of the herbs that goes on to actually fortify the strength of the Angelica and hence make it very potent. Okay. So at this stage, let me share with you a video. All right. That's still one of my favorite videos of the oils, especially when you actually realize how precious magnolia is. But let me share a little story with you. It's very interesting because the magnolia flower, in order for the oils and its essence to be distilled, right, it has to be harvested when it's still in bud form. So the harvesting period for magnolia is actually pretty short, maybe a span between 6 to 8 weeks. And whatever is harvested for the 6 to 8 weeks, right, actually will kind of produce the oils that's actually for the rest of the year. That's why the magnolia has always been one of the most precious herbs we have. In fact, for many of us who actually use it, we call it the king of oils. Okay, we'll carry one around. Now, a little bit of a background of the funnel saw. Farnesol, if you go research in the internet, has been known to have anti-cancer properties. So in a very early version of magnolia oil that we have, right, what happened was the farnesol content was not as high. And yet it took the professors from Yangming Taiwan University more than 10 years before they managed to develop this new version of magnolia. So that's why we call it farnesol magnolia, where the farnesol content is 10 times as potent, right? Hence, that's one of the properties that actually makes the this particular magnolia oil very effective. Now, remember what I said about the oils itself. They don't just contain farnesol magnolia. You realize that, inside it also contains a lot of other herbs, including Ravensara and Neoli, right? So it's that whole blend, that whole balanced blend that makes it very potent. And we particularly use it for anything related to lung and the large intestine meridians. Remember, we are saying that the meridians exist in pair, right? So, the lung and the large intestine meridian, is actually very well protected. They will get very energized using this farnesol magnolia oil. Now, what are these used for? So, if you look at some of these symptoms, in particular respiratory issues, flu, cough. Now, why is skin allergy also part of it? Because the skin is an organ that's related to what we call the lung meridian, right? So anything to do with skin, sometimes allergies from the skin, could be a indication that your lung meridian needs strengthening up. So maybe strengthening with farnesol magnolia could actually help with resolving some of your skin issues. Now, just a couple more tips. We also use it a lot for things like stopping bleeding, cuts and burns, and of course, I've also shared with people how they could use it, in particular to help with lung cancer prevention. You can actually diffuse it using a diffuser, where then you can breathe in the magnolia fumes very deep into the lungs itself. Okay. Now let me share some stories. I would like to call upon Jermaine to share this particular story. Jermaine, are you there, Jermaine?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jermaine. Yeah, why don't you share this story with the audience here?
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yes, this is my sister's mother-in-law. She's now is about 94, and during last year she actually feel some pain on her breast, the left hand side. So left breast has some pain, and there's a lump. So you can see from the picture during June is a very big one. Actually, it's burst out, and during that time it happened. There's nobody at home. It's only the maid with her. So they were so frightened that because the bursting of the blood is all over the bed. So they quickly call ambulance and all these things. So when after the diagnosis is actually a breast cancer, and during that time she feel that it's very painful, and the pain is unbearable because every now and then it really make her can't sleep. So what happened is she cried every night. So my sisters was sharing with me, how to help her, all these things. Then I actually told her that if she can try out with the magnolia, financial magnolia, and also with our matrix cell, this will help her to actually subside the breast cancer, the lump there. And quite surprisingly, after using by about 3 months, the the whole lump is actually subsided. You can see that from June to October, it actually becomes smaller. And this year, New Year time, when I saw her, she actually thanked me for helping her. Because of that, she was very happy, and she even gave me ang pao for that. I mean, quite cute. At her age, I think this will really help her to have a better quality life. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you, Jermaine. Yeah, most wonderful sharing. In fact, Jermaine is a TCM physician. Is a practice TCM physician. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, next, I would actually like to share that we do use it a lot for both cuts and burns, right? This is also another of my friend. She was actually in the kitchen preparing vegetables when she accidentally cut her left palm, right? And very quickly, because she also learned from the workshop that magnolia is very useful to help with staunching the bleeding. So she quickly washed it, and then she applied the magnolia on it. Of course, it helps to stop the bleeding, but very important, you actually realize that, the healing is very fast, right? The swelling and the pain will subside, and you realize that you will heal without infection because, there's a particular properties of funnel salt that actually helps, with the biofilm that actually breaks through and really helps to protect the wounds, okay? So for many of us, this is one of our favorite ways to actually, deal with cuts and burns. Now, that's another tip. If you have accidentally burning oil splash onto your skin, right? Very quickly, we'll just wash it off with water, cool it down, then drip the magnolia directly onto it, right? The magnolia, a lot of time would say, help the thing from blistering. Okay. Now, next, I would actually like to call upon somebody all the way from Cambodia. Okay, do we have Yan Yan on the line? Okay, Yan Yan, would you like to share? I mean, feel free to share either in English or Chinese. I can translate either way if it works.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm here. I'm here. Hello.
Hi, Yan Yan.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear?
Yes, Yan Yan, would you like to share your story?
Can I speak Chinese?
Okay, you can speak Chinese. I will translate for you.
我用的最多的就是心仪，我儿子，因为我儿子他晚上睡觉，他很怕热，然后晚上不盖被子，盖了被子他就踢掉，然后又开的空调，不开空调他又热，然后晚上一直踢被子，然后就经常第二天醒来就开始流鼻涕，嘘鼻涕开始，就经常这样，然后我就用那个心仪还有 VM 帮他涂鼻子，还有喉咙，还有胸啊，涂这些穴位，然后涂一下，就会好很多，马上就会好。然后有时候严重的话，他就开始感冒，然后我也是用这个方法帮他涂了，然后就很少有这样的问题，很少有感冒啊、咳嗽。因为要不然像平时以前没有涂的话，他如果有一点点感冒、一点点咳嗽，他就是好几个星期这样子，所以我就很怕。但是我用这个心仪的话，就很少有这样的问题，他就涂了，他就马上好很多。然后他不是去年还前年中 COVID 吗？我都不知道他中 COVID，然后回来他就突然间他就开始跟我讲，妈妈我鼻子很堵，然后我就给他涂心仪咯，涂心仪，然后涂穴位，然后按摩肺经这些，然后涂了会好一点。第二天我又开始给他涂，到了晚上他又开始咳嗽，又开始堵，他就跟我说鼻子堵，然后我又给他涂了，然后经过2个晚上，到第3天他就是到第2天他就是鼻子塞的比较严重，他就是鼻塞的比较严重，我也是给他涂，一直给他，因为那时候我都不知道他是 COVID。然后也是用这个心仪给他涂了，然后2个晚上之后，到了第3天他就好很多了嘛，他就好很多，然后就不会一直鼻子塞呀、干嘛就好很多。但是我自己就不一样，我自己就是可能过了2天我就被他传染到，我自己中 COVID，然后就比较严重，然后查了之后才知道他是中 COVID，我是被他传染的，是这样的。然后他平时小孩子他爱贪玩啊，爱干嘛？有时候就是玩一下，可能把脚啊、把手啊给碰破皮，然后我就用1滴2滴涂在那个伤口上面，他就1次2次就好了。
很好，很好，Yan Yan. Let me translate what Yan Yan says. So Yan Yan says that, actually magnolia is her favorite oil, right? So what happened is, that's her son, a cute little son. Her son often sleeps at night, but because, if it's, it's very hot, then you shed off the blanket and with the aircon on, more than often, she will actually wake up the next day with a runny nose. So, last time, if she doesn't take care of the runny nose, she actually realized that, that condition will actually persist on for easily 2-3 weeks. But these days, once she actually learned how to apply magnolia, straight away, she will actually take 2 or 3 drops of magnolia, apply onto the nose area, where we call the inxiang point, is just slightly below the nose, and also apply onto the chest area. And you find that he will recover very quickly. right? And because he's a kid, he likes to run around, right? So he tends to have a lot of cuts and bruises here and there. And after learning how to use Magnolia, she often use 1 or 2 drops of Magnolia, drip it directly onto the bruises or on the cuts. You find that actually will heal very quickly. Now, one very interesting incident was that last year, his boy actually came back with a very stuffy nose, right? So she again use Magnolia, apply on the chest, help to massage the lung meridian area, apply onto the nose, and that went on for 2 or 3 days. By on the third day itself, the boy actually bounced back. Okay, he was okay already. But he didn't find it was he didn't she didn't find out it was COVID until because she found out she was actually infected by the boy, because following that Yan Yan fell sick. Okay, so when Yan Yan fell sick and tested herself, then that's when she realized that, oh, actually her small little boy actually has probably has COVID and actually has passed it on to her. Okay, so yeah, we have actually brought this set of oils and meridian therapy into Cambodia, and Yan Yan is one of the one of our trainer over there right now, and she's doing a great job at it. Okay, thank you, Yan Yan. All right. Now I would like to switch country. Now I would like to run all the way to Philippines and call upon one of my Philippines friend, Florabelle. Okay, Florabelle, would you like to share with everybody your story here? Come, Florabelle.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, Florabelle.
Actually, I'm a breast cancer survivor. It's on my 4th year already after the surgery. So during the surgery, after the surgery, I felt so weak, and it's very hard for me to move, especially on the area which has the operation. So my mentor, all my friends advised me, you better bring all the oils to the hospital. Whatever you feel, you just ask your mom to apply for you. So after the operation, I asked my mom, can you apply for me the BM and Positel on this area? This area, because really this one, I cannot move and I cannot pull up. So after I think only few hours, I able to sit back, and then the doctor advised, no, you cannot sit because you're still on the process of recovery. But I'm very tired lying down, so can I just sit back a little while? Okay, how come? And then the doctor asked, how come you are able to sit down? Because the oil is helping me to gain the strength and to faster help on my recovery. Even during that time, I'm having a hard time sleeping. So every time I always use BM Magnolia and Nipen to apply on my chest and also on the surgery area to faster heal and also help me to to take a rest, to sleep very well. And last time I sleep always 11, 12. Now during the time I can sleep 9, 10. It's already helping me a lot to gain more strength and recover very fast.
Wow, thank you, Florabelle. So happy for you. Okay. So you also
Yeah.
realize that many of us who are used to using the oils, this is like our first aid kit, right? We actually use different oils,
Yes, yes.
and of course including Magnolia, it is perpetually
Yeah.
everybody's favorite. Okay, well, nice to see you again, Florabelle.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Now next I would like to introduce you to this is probably my own personal favorite oil. It's called Forsythia Detox. And I think the word detox will probably give you a clue, right? We use this a lot for detoxing our body. And that's why this oil, now Forsythia contains not just Forsythia, which is the main herb for cooling, but it also contains things like aloe vera, tea tree, and a couple of mix to make it a very balanced group. Now remember, it detoxes our liver and gallbladder. That's why I use that a lot, especially if I sleep late at night. Now another very interesting meridian that it actually energizes is called the triple warmer meridian. Now in TCM, the triple warmer meridian governs anything that has to do with hormonal issues. So for ladies, take note, right? anything that is related to hormonal issues, imbalance or whatever it is, forsythia oil will be very useful for you to help to rebalance back your meridians. Now, what are some of the signs that your liver gallbladder may not be up to mark, right? Things like liver issues. So liver issues will include things like fatty liver, yeah, liver pain, right? Stiff neck, stiff shoulder. Now acne and pimple is one of the very popular thing that we actually use forsythia for, and of course slimming, right? And it's also one of the oils that has very strong anti-inflammatory properties. So any area in your body that has inflamed, you can actually apply forsythia. Now, the other oil that has very good anti-inflammation property was magnolia. Just now, that was the oil that was just presented, right? So these are really some of the issues that the forsythia oil would be very useful for. Okay. Now over here, I would like to call upon one of my very dear friend all the way from Malaysia, right? Because I'm so proud of her because she actually just learned meridian therapy very recently, and she has learned how to really use some of these things to her benefit. Okay, Yun Cheng. Can I have you share your story and then how you have been using the oils to help yourself, Yun Cheng? Can somebody help me to spotlight Yun Cheng? Hi, Yun Cheng, are you able to hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see you too.
Yeah, I was actually having a bit like OCD last time. Also having this bad habit on too excessive of cleaning my ear and then causing inflammation inside the the eardrum. So I found like in pain. So what I did is actually I applied forsythia behind my ear and also outside. So I tried 2 times and then the pain works wonder. The pain gone. So far I applied 2 times, and then if I forgotten again my too excessive for ear cleaning, then this problem come back. I try to apply again the procedure.
No worries, you have your savior now, right? Forsythia is your savior. So
Yeah.
for all the audience out there, anything to do with inflammation, yeah, you can actually try using forsythia to subdue the inflammation. Thank you, Yun Cheng. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, next, I actually would like Florabelle to share on this because this cute little girl, is actually related to Florabelle. Florabelle, would you like to share on how you actually help Eva here, Florabelle?
Yeah, she's my daughter who is in teenage years right now. So as usual, all those teenager, their normal problem is the acne, especially when their monthly period is coming in. So she keep on complaining. We have tried so many medicine to put on her acne. In the end, I asked her to apply the Positel. So every time she will have the monthly period coming in, she know already. She will get the Positel and apply on her face, massage, and then
Well
so
done,
no
well.
more acne coming out.
So you see, you can actually teach your small ones how to use it, right? And then they actually, this oils really bring joy to the whole family. Thank you, Florabelle. Okay.
Okay, thank
Now, this is a very interesting case because I would like Jenny to share because, recently I've heard from many friends, like, I'm not too sure whether it's, after our jabs and whatever it is, recently we have had many cases of friends, who actually have sudden attack of hives. So yeah, let's call upon Jenny. Jenny, would you like to share how you actually use this to help with your hives? Hi, Jenny.
Yes. Hello, Kate. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Okay, these hives actually happened during COVID. Yeah, so it actually flare up in a sudden. So on my thighs, my whole thighs, front and back, and also my arms, very, very itchy. And that time during COVID, I believe that everyone, nobody dare to go clinic. Yeah, so I'm very thankful that I learned all this while I've been learning how to use the oil and to apply the logic to detox. Because in TCM, this hives is also considered a toxin. So I apply forsythia detox and also mixed with VM. These two oil mix, and then I apply on one of the point along the gallbladder meridian. There's a feng shui point. So during workshop, you will learn that, yeah. So I hammer this point. After applying the oil, I hammer this point diligently. So I actually hammer 200 times. I diligently counted 200 times, then I rest my arm. I continue for 3 rounds. So that time, because I want the hive subside faster, so I do 600 times. So and I monitor within hours, I can see the hive subsided very fast. And main thing is that no longer itchy. And that night I can just sleep as per normal. Otherwise, if let's say very itchy, then you won't be able to sleep and then you go to like scratch. Yeah. So the next day morning, I also continue. Morning, I went down to the garden, the nearby garden. I do the human reset, the important 5 points if you have learned to reset the whole energy. So it helps me recover fully by noontime. So actually, I counted less than 1 day, I fully recovered naturally. So I'm very blessed that without having to take medicine, then have to see doctors, I just use this oil and the skills that I've learned. It actually helped me and also saved me money.
Oh, well done,
Yeah,
Jenny.
thank you, Kate.
Really putting your knowledge to use. So for
Yeah.
friends, you know, you have know of loved ones who are trying to find a natural solution to address hives, do contact the friend who's actually introduced you to the talk, and we'll be more than happy to to teach you how to do this. Okay. Now, next, I would like to present to you Hinoki. Now, Hinoki is actually Japanese cypress, right? For those who have been to a forest in Japan, you know, you'll find that it's very calming when you go into their cypress forest. That's because it actually exudes a natural oil that's actually very good for calming. Now, what goes into our Hinoki essential oil? Okay, you realize it's not just Hinoki, right? There's frankincense, tea tree, and of course, this herbal artemisia, which is also one of the Chinese herbs that's been found to be very effective, you know, to battle against COVID, right? Now, as again, the hinoki is very good for protecting the heart and the pericardium meridian. Now, pericardium in this sense is the muscle that protects the heart. And also in this case, hinoki is also very beneficial for the lung meridian. Now, what do we use hinoki for? You know, when the heart is agitated, you know, you tend to lead to a lot of things like anxiety, depression, people who feel very stressed, these meridians are affected. And also, you know, stroke and heart palpitation and focus. You know, these are really some of the conditions that you can actually use hinoki to help you with, right? Now, here I would like to have a friend, Jennifer, shares how she actually use hinoki. Jennifer, you would like to share? You got to unmute yourself, Jennifer.
Hi everyone, Jennifer here. So since 12 years old, I actually suffer from heart palpitations as well as panic attacks. So I went to the doctor and he prescribed me medicine that will slow down my heartbeat. So I used to carry these medications, but ever since I know hinoki, I don't need the medications anymore, and I've kind of like dumped all of them away. Yeah, so thank you to hinoki. Thanks, kid.
All right. Well done, Jennifer. So, you know, if you know of people with a lot of depression, anxiety, and so forth, you know, this would be one of the very useful oils that you can actually use to help them calm down and also restore back balances in their emotions. Okay. Now, here I would like to, present oil that is very good to address insomnia issue. Now, the pen has the herb called valerian. The valerian has been known even since in Western time to be like, you know, the natural sleeping medication, right? Used a lot in the Western medicine. So the pen oil itself actually contains valerian, lavender, and of course a few other mixes. And again, it's used for protecting or calming down the heart and pericardium meridian. I tend to use this a lot to also help people with anxiety, depression, and especially insomnia. Now, insomnia is really a very real issue these days. I have many friends who actually, because of stress, eventually it leads to them having insomnia. And when they cannot sleep over a prolonged period of time, it leads to anxiety and depression. So this is one of the oils that I actually use a lot to help people to, to gain that good sleep. I myself, I use that every night so that I get a good night's sleep. And yeah, this is actually Amy from Philippines. Amy from Philippines, you know, has been a very busy woman. Okay, she has church, she has whatever, but because she's so busy, you know, her mind keeps very, is always very active all the way to like 10, 11 at night. and that resulted in her not being able to sleep well, right? So, after she learned how to use the pen from the workshops, she started actually using them to apply. Very easy, right? Apply on the heart area and along your inside of your forearm where the heart meridian is. You'll find that, that very simple technique will allow you to actually gain a very good night of sleep, right? In addition to it, you can also diffuse the pen in the diffuser to help you get a good night of sleep. Now here I'd like to bring you to this oil that is very good for the kidney meridian. That's why, even the word masculine sounds that right now. Masculine contains this herb called Sichuan lovage, right, which is very beneficial to strengthen up the kidney and the bladder meridian. Now the Ren and the Du meridian is really the two center line meridian in the center of the body. So, these oils are very good to boost the qi flow in the body. Now, what are the issues, when your kidney and your bladder is weak? Things I remember I was talking about chronic fatigue. This is also a very good oil to boost the male sex drive. In fact, I have many Malay friends who actually use it. They actually nickname it Minyak Tongkat Ali. Okay. It's also very good to give you that boost of energy for sports and activities. And, if it tends like cold hand, cold feet, this would be a very good oil to boost the flow of qi in the body. Now, along with it, we do have Angelica Arden oil. The Angelica oil, is more suitable for the ladies to use because it's a very warming oil. Now, of course, being Angelica, it contains Angelica, which is tang kueh. It also contains things like Sichuan lovage and evening primrose oil, which is very good for ladies who are, undergoing their PMS right now. Right, again, the Angelica oil is very good for you to help nourish back your blood, after having a period. And it again protects the kidney and the bladder meridian, right? These are some of the symptoms that some of the health issues that, Angelica could be helpful with, Now, next, I would like to bring back Yun Cheng. Come, Yun Cheng, why don't you share this story with us? You've been putting the oils to very good use to your family. Hi, Yun Cheng.
Yeah. Hi. My daughter was actually in the puberty stage, and her menses has been delayed, so which will worry us. And then after going through the TCM training, so what I apply is on the abdomen side on the Angelica. The problem is after applying the Angelica oil, and her menses came after a week. So that it really makes us very happy. And then it lasts like a month. No, sorry, about 7 days. And then we didn't continue. The problem of menses stopped again. So that shocked us. And then we try to reapply. And then now we add on Forsythia also, Angelica and Forsythia. And then she do not need to take any medication anymore. So her menses come, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well done, Yun Ching. You are really star student. Okay, putting all your knowledge to good use. Okay.
Thank you.
For those of you who think that Angelica is just for ladies, no. Okay, so with a little bit of knowledge and so forth, you also realize that in certain conditions, Angelica can also be very useful for men. Okay, in this case, it will be Joey, my good friend. Joey found out during her NS days that she actually has a thalassemia minor condition. Now, this is really an inherited blood disorder, right? People who had it tend to feel like closed hand, closed feet, when the aircon room for too long. So after Joey learned about how to use Angelica, she actually now mix it together with Vital Meridian and Angelica and apply it on his kidney area. And she actually found that, he now seldom have giddy spells. But he also used Angelica to strengthen him before his workout because he's also a runner, right? He likes to run. So that's another good tip. You want to boost up your strength for any activity, this would be a very useful combination, right, of Angelica to use. Now, next is Huo Xiang. Huo Xiang oil is loved by the elderly. Okay, Huo Xiang oil, for those of you who remember what I told about patchouli, right? Patchouli is the herb that's very beneficial to any stomach disorder. Now, in Huo Xiang oil itself, it doesn't only have patchouli, it also has things like perilla. Perilla is like the leaf that when you eat sushi, right, sometimes you see this green color leaf on it, right? The perilla is very good because when you eat sushi and you eat perilla together with it, it actually helps you to kill the germs and stuff like that. So that's why perilla is inside it. And mandarin is another very useful Chinese herb for the tummy. So again, it protects the stomach and the spleen meridian. Now, what are some of the issues that it can help with? Diarrhea, constipation, even IBS and acid reflux. Or you have children who have like loss of appetite or poor digestion, or water retention in the legs. These are really some of the conditions that, Huo Xiang will be very useful for. Now, let's hear Uncle Rocky share his own experiences on.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rocky Chong, and I'm already 80 years old. I had an operation, cancer operation of the stomach a couple of years ago. So far, I must say, I'm doing all right. But then occasionally, I do have bloated stomach and indigestion, and that can be pretty uncomfortable. Luckily, I have this thing called housing. As you can see, it's a very traditional type of ointment. All that I need to do is to rub it on my navel, rub it for a few seconds, after which, well, sorry to say, I let off quite a fair bit of gas. But then it helps, I feel good again. And if any of you should have that kind of problem, I would strongly recommend that you try it. Have a good day.
So you don't need to pronounce the name correctly, but as long as you know how to use it, it brings wonders. Now, for those of you who think that it's only humans who actually use it, well, guess what? Lynette is one of our trainers, right? When she actually learned how to use Huo Xiang on herself and so forth, she actually started using it on her little dog called Chica. And when Chica has a tummy upset, she actually applied a couple of drops of Huo Xiang together with Vital Meridian, and it does wonders to help her dogs clear all her tummy upset. Okay? Now let me now introduce what we call the general of oils, okay, which is Vital Meridian essence. Now don't look at the Vital Meridian essence as nothing. By itself, it contains more than 20 herbs, including RG wormwood, right? RG wormwood is used a lot for making moxa sticks, like the one where you do moxibustion. Sichuan Lowash, remember Sichuan Lowash was one of the herbs that actually boosts up qi, and also ginger blend and frankincense. So this oil is very good to boost the circulation of qi and blood throughout the meridians. In fact, when you use it together with the main oil, right, it actually boosts the effectiveness of the seven specialized herbal oils that I just touched on. And it's one of our perpetual favorites to be used for many things, from being used as a moisturizer to many other uses. So let me share with you some of the stories that from people who have actually used Vital Meridian. Okay, now I would like to bring on Daphne to share this, because this is actually Daphne's friend in Cambodia, Mali. Daphne, why don't you share Mali's story?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, Mali is my ex-colleague. One day she come to me and asked for medical leave. Then I realized that, because she made appointment to Thailand, but however, it's a long queue. Because she has you can see the face that is numb, and she cannot drink water as usual. So during the time, I just learn from the workshop that know how to gua sha, head gua sha, and face gua sha. So I just teach her to do the face gua sha and head gua sha. And amazingly, it actually is after a 7 days, she already can be see normally. And after a month, she fully recovered. And recently, she also called me and said that, her friend also got the same issue as her. So this time I add on, by right, it should be using the VM and also Forcetel. And this time it actually is her relative. Then I just add on Forcetel. And amazingly, that is within 7 days, her relative, her auntie, is fully recovered. And the family, the narrative of the family is there is a doctor and they open a clinic, but they didn't have any source to have a solution on that. And doctor tell them that's it. You have to slowly take time to recover. So with the VM, with the TCM essential oil, it's helped a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Daphne. So you see, even just by itself, the VM is very potent. But of course, when we add on the oils like Forcetel to it, it actually further boosts up the strength of the Forcetel. That's why the recovery of the friend, the newer friend who has that, is a far shorter time. Okay? Now we also have this case all the way from Taiwan. A friend actually has a skin condition. You can see it's very bad, skin disorder. And what she did was that, she then, used Vita Meridian to massage her arms on a daily basis. And after 1 month, you can actually notice how her condition has improved tremendously. Right? Probably also helped by the, a good boost of her blood and qi, in the arm and the lung area. Right? Now, this is a friend from Malaysia side, Yuling. Okay, now the mother actually has water retention. Okay, remember we are saying that Forcetel is very good for water retention. So what she did was she actually used a mix of both Vita Meridian and Forcetel, and she actually massaged the mother's leg. And you can realize that, she was diligently actually monitoring the mother's leg from day to day. You can actually see within like 4 to 5 days of daily application how the water retention has actually, subsided. So this is also a very, interesting tips for all those who are maybe looking for a solution for a water retention issue, right? Now, these are really the, the 7 oils, right? Together, the Vita Meridian make up the full set of our Avita Biotech Herbal Essential Oils, right? Now, that's why it becomes very interesting. You actually realize that, if you actually, for us, our approach is very straightforward. Every health condition, right? Every health condition based on TCM must be related to some meridian in your body that has gone imbalance. And if you know which meridians has gone imbalance, right? Pick the right oil to use. Pick the right oil to use. Apply on the right acupressure points, and you'll find the right joy. Of course, the right joy is of course regaining back health, lah. Now, I often get this question, right? What if I pick the right oils, but I put it on the wrong point? Well, you probably get some joy, not as much joy as you should be getting, at most is, it has just very limited effect, but, there's no harm even if you put the oils onto the wrong points, okay? So this is where we encourage you that, to learn how to use this set of oils properly. Now, how do you then learn how to use this set of oils? Well, you learn to use the Avita TCM oil from our very fun and experiential Meridian 101 workshop. In fact, I'll just share with you the next video to show you, some of the things that we actually teach the participants. right. Now, we do have a lot of fun in our workshops. In fact, these are just pictures from workshops that was conducted last 2 weeks, okay? Ranging from, parties to, we even held a party especially for the Malay community where I had to speak Malay to teach the workshop. And and that's pictures from our various workshops and also our Kwasha parties. So do, feel free to come and check out, our workshops, okay? Now, in fact, I will share with you what workshops do we do, right? We do have 5 separate workshops that we used to conduct, but in these days, because of a request from participants, the distress workshop is very good for people who are facing a lot of issues like stiff neck, stiff shoulder, headaches, and so forth. Then the distress workshop will be the right one to go for you. Now, every one workshop deals with everyday problem. Fever, cough, chronic fatigue, flu, and so forth. That's why we call it everyone, because it deals with everyday issues. Now, these 2 workshops are now combined into what we call a combo 1 workshop or a FBLB 1 workshop. Okay, these 2 workshops are now combined or into one longer workshop. And the other workshop that we have, one of the favorite for ladies, is the facial reflexology, right? Ladies, if you learn facial reflexology, you do not need to do Botox, okay? This is a natural Eastern Botox. Now, detox is very good for learning how to strengthen your stomach, spleen system, and you're protecting your liver and the gallbladder. And of course, you can also use Gua Sha for slimming. And what we did is, all these 3 workshops that you see is now combined into what we call a combo 2 workshop, right? Or FBLB 2 workshop, okay? So these 2 workshops basically cover all the 5 workshops that we used to conduct individually. Now for today until the rest of Friday, we have a very good offer, okay? Now, if you just to take both the workshops, right? Right? At retail price, it's priced at $358. Now it's only for $138. Okay, $138. And what more, you get a free bottle of 100 ml Vital Meridian, worth retail price of $110, to bring back with you so that you can also practice. Okay, now this offer is valid till Friday. So if you're interested to find out more, please contact the friend that's invited you for the talk, okay? Now, and also, for your consideration, we have a very special TCM oil promotion, okay? If you take home, a 30 ml Farnesol Magnolia and a 30 ml Hinoki, okay? Now, retail price, both these oils are retail at $533. Now, it's only going for $426. And what more, right? You get to receive a free Avita Aroma Diffuser, which retails at $198 for free. Okay, so again, if you are interested in this deal, please contact the friend who has actually invited you to the talk. Okay, so now I will break here for any questions and answers. Okay, if there's any, you can kind of type them in the chat group, or feel free to maybe just unmute yourself and you can ask me any questions, pertaining to the oils or maybe some applications. Do we have any questions from the audience? Oh, certainly looks like nobody has much question. No worries. Okay, if you have any questions and so forth, just feel free to contact your friend who's invited you to this talk, and then we'll be more than happy to address your needs. Okay, so yeah, thank you everybody. I will end with this slide. Okay, if you're interested, please contact the friends who's invited you for the talk, and thank you for staying with me. Good night, everybody. Okay, and that concludes.
Kit, sorry, there's a question that just came in.
Okay.
It's in the chat. Yeah.
Can you read out the question for me, Joe?
Yes, sure. Can oil cure high blood pressure?
Okay. Not the oil. So you need to learn which are the acupressure point, that's actually affecting the high blood pressure, right? By using the right oils on the right meridian again, and by gua shaing the relevant meridian, it can help you with your 3 highs, which include things like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and so forth. And yes, using the right oils on the right meridian with gua sha will be able to help you improve your high blood pressure condition.
Okay, thank you, Kit. Oh, there's another one that just came from Nelly. Can gua sha be applied or done for any age group?
Okay. So generally, we will say that, for kids, anything above 12 years old, right, when they are all properly formed, you can start doing gua sha. Like for my teenage son, I do use gua sha on them, lah, okay? But if they're below the age of 12, when they're still forming a bit, so what you can do instead of doing gua sha, you can just use oil massage. So you can use the oils and then massage on them. Now, for elderly folks, you also got to be more mindful, right? Some of the elderly folks is literally like the skin wrapping the bones, right? So if you are going to do gua sha on them, they might feel very uncomfortable. So in those cases, what you just do with them is just give them a good oil massage, okay? But using the same technique as what you will learn during the workshop, you just stroke them using the oils. They will feel very good because their blood and chi will be flowing, okay?
Okay, good. Hang on, some more questions. How about those who have hypothyroid?
Okay, so again, hypothyroid, again, there's check with the friend that who's introduced to you. Okay, hypothyroid, yes, you can actually use the oil conditions to help improve both hypo and hyperthyroid conditions. Okay, the mix is a little bit more complex. If you are interested, get in contact with me. Who's the friend who introduced you to this talk? I'll be more than happy to share with you the solution for both hypo and hyperthyroid, and then you can actually consider. So that I have a post and that actually shares with you what are the mix of oils that you actually use and where do you apply them to help with both these thyroid conditions. Okay.
Can, thank you. One more. Can the oils be used in any other diffuser or must it be Avita diffuser?
Okay. So if you have a diffuser that is used to diffuse oil, okay, now I'm not referring to those diffusers that actually use water, okay? Oil should be oils, the best way to diffuse them is to use a diffuser that actually is able to diffuse oil by itself, right? They have a mechanism that actually super vaporizes the oil drops, in which case then the oil will go into the atmosphere. So if your diffuser is of those type, right, then you can use the Avita TCM oils on them. Now, not all the Avita TCM oils can be used for aromatherapy, right? You can use things like magnolia, very good for flu, cough, help with respiratory problems. You can use Napan when you have issues with insomnia. Then you can use Hinoki when you want to calm down or focus or keep focus at work, or even just to sanitize the air. So these are the three TCM oils that you can use in the Avita aroma diffuser, or if your diffuser actually diffuses oil by itself, right? Do not waste Avita oils on using on those diffuser that uses water. Okay, it's just a complete waste of very precious oils lah. Okay, so yeah, get one of those that actually diffuse. So that's the actually most economical way I find that to diffuse things into the atmosphere.
All right. And which oil is suitable for menopause rash or rash? Yeah.
Is it Angelica? You're saying can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, which oil is suitable for those with menopause rash?
Oh, okay. I think for menopause, what you can use is Angelica to rebalance back your system, right? You can use Angelica oil, right? Then you can also use Forsythia to apply on the rashes, because rashes are a form of inflammation. So you kind of use both two oils to help you rebalance back your system and also to deal with the rashes, right?
Okay, very good. And thank you. And also, can TCM oils be used on pregnant ladies?
Okay, I would say that you be cautious, especially if you are have not used Avita oils before. But for some of our users who have been using it quite regularly, they do actually use our oils to help them. You can use the oils to help you with, of course, things like morning sickness. But the only thing I would say, do not do any acupressure massage, right? Or activate any acupressure points or do gua sha when you're pregnant. You can just use the oils by itself, as application on the body. Okay, that's because your body is undergoing a lot of hormonal changes. So things like gua sha and so forth, is a little bit too, could disrupt the hormonal thing. Just use the oils as it is, right? Do not do gua sha, do not do acupressure massage.
All right. From Josephine, do we need to use a carrier oil with the oils, or are they ready to use as it is?
Yeah. Okay. So typically, if it's only a point massage, let's say if I just want to appoint 1 or 2 drops on my nose to stop sinus, right? I will just apply the oils directly. But if I have a bigger area, right, if I'm going to do gua sha, typically it's over a larger area, then I will actually add on the Vital Meridian, okay, because then it will actually boost the efficacy of the oil further, and to do it. So typically, you can use the oils directly straight from the bottle, as it is for point massage. But when you have a bigger area to massage, do add it with the Vital Meridian together with the oils to boost the whole overall efficacy.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Kit. Thank you so much for everybody's